Hi, everybody. Welcome to our forum. Where we're working with ministry and finding out how the past season, our performance was in the past season. After the forum, we're going to have our AGM. But it should be quite short and quick. So we won't keep you too long for that. It's great to see many familiar faces. Mrs. Mandela is here representing ministry. If you'd like to come up, ma'am, come and join me. So I don't know if you remember, Mrs. Mandela presented last year as well at CAPS. So she'll be representing ministry today. Would you like to? Okay, someone gave a chief agronomist with the ministry. I remember last year we were sort of waiting, and Mrs. Mandela was coming from Narrandale. You remember? Yeah. And I was sort of tapping my toes, wondering where is she? Did I on a bus? Anyway, they keep them very busy. Sorry?
Yeah, oh, yes. Just a second.
I'll pass the floor to you.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. As we have heard from him, I am Sibongile Mandela, Chief Agronomist from the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Transport and Development. I am not using Namati. I is my Chief Director, and you could not be with you due to other work-related commitments. So today I am his mouthpiece. I'm just presenting on his behalf, and I come with my workmates, Ms. Jacqueline Chikarate, to present with me. So I just want to give you the results of the second round crop livestock and fisheries assessment, the second round. Because maybe you're wondering, now there's an F, we now also do the assessment for that fisheries. Maybe as introduction, our ministry, we carry out 4 assessments per year. The first one is the first round crop and livestock assessment, which is done mainly in January and February, and that one is for ascertaining the area planted with different crops, and also the issue of the input situation. What is the situation like for all the different inputs? Then after that, we carry the second round crop, livestock and fisheries assessment. This is the one which I'm going to present. Then after harvest, we will do what is called the post-harvest assessment. Then we are in winter, where we grow wheat. Then around the August, September, we'll be doing the assessment for the wheat. So generally, these are the 4 assessments which the ministry conducts. This is not clear, but I think I will explain. These are the data collection methods which we use at the ministry. I am also going to share the hard copy of the whole document so that you can all go through. So how do we collect the data? Currently, starting from this year, the ministry, we are now doing these assessments together with the ZIMSTAT, the Zimbabwe Statistical Agency. We are now doing the reports together and co-audit the report. So we have got several methods which we use. We have the primary, which we use that we send the questionnaires, which are administered by the level agriculture extension officers. We also do remote sensing, and we are being assisted by FAO to come up with the correct triangulation for the areas and the yields. Then also we have got the meteorological services department. They also provide information on the rainfall activity. Then we also have stakeholder data, all those organizations they carry out a lot of assessment, but they also come to the ministry with their data, with the TIMB for protected area to tobacco, TRB for their seed sales. Then we also have AMA, we have the COTCO, then with Zimbabwe Fisheries Producers Association, the Crocodile Farmers Association, Macadamia Growers, TechnoSave, Citrus Growers, all those, they also share with us their intent of their farmers. So we all use that to come out with the report. So from that one, these are the interviewed households by sector. So all those, depending on the sector, these were the households which were interviewed by our ward level agriculture extension officers. Then we also use the satellite data, as I've said, then also the stakeholder reports and consultation, as I've said earlier on. Then moving on to the food crop production, we have on the far left, these are the productions for this year. Then followed by 2023-2024 season. Last year, it was not a good year and it was declared a drought due to the El Nino. So you can see that the productions for 2023-24, they were very low. Then also have the productions for 2022-2023. So from these ones, you can see that on our food crop, maize we had 2.2 million, then sorghum 436,000, then the pale millet 188, then the finger millet is 9,600. So the total food crops, it was around 3.2 million, the combination of, and you can see that in most cases there were a lot of the growth rate compared to last year was very big, just because last year it was a drought year. Then, as the ministry, when we are doing the balance sheet, there are three scenarios which we use. The first one is the planning scenario, which is used from the ministry, when we assume that each person per year consumes 10 kgs per month, which means that person consumes 120 kgs per year of any cereal. Then the next scenario is that for the SADC, which is provided by a SADC, that each and every person consumed 8.5 kgs of cereal a year. Then the other one, the actual one, that was worked up by Simstat, that now the eating habits have changed from maize and traditional grains. A person can eat 7.7 kgs per month, but as the ministry, we use the 10 kg one for planning purposes. Using that, our human requirement is 1,800,000. Then the 400 is for livestock and other industrial uses. Then the total requirement is 2,200,000 metric tons. Then as the time of the assessment, that is end of April, strategic grain reserve, we have 83,526. Then we expected the cereal of 2.9, which means the total cereal which we produce plus the ones in the strategic grain reserve, we had a surplus of 811. Using the SADC consumption, we had a surplus of 1 million, and using the Simstat, we had a surplus of 1.2 million, according to the assessment. Then we now moved each district, because the sufficient is just that the overall one, but we now went to district by district. We had some districts like Wake and Bedbridge. That cereal production, despite being a very good year, but their production only is going to last between 0 and 3 months, which means still they are now being given some food aid. Then we move on to, we have got some districts which had cereal, which was estimated to last 7 to 9 months. That were Kariba, Rushinda, Mutsi, Guyera, Mutare, Kwekwe, Berewa, Shawanechim, and Mang. But most of those are districts, they are cereal. Was enough for them. Then we move on to the annual, our horticulture production for this year. As you can see, there's a lot of negative changes. The previous drought year affects horticulture production the following year because most of our horticulture rely on irrigation and also some of those crops like the butternut cabbages, they are grown by smallholder farmers. So a previous drought year results in compromised water sources for horticulture production following year. So this is really affected production, especially of the cabbages. It has been reduced by minus 43% as compared to last season. The leaf vegetable have also been reduced by 38%. Then we move on to the annual crops. In most cases, there are no significant changes compared to last year, but like 4,000, that was the area for tea and an average yield of 3 tons per hectare and the production of 13,146. So for the annual crops, there is not much change compared to last year. Then moving on to the production estimates for the non-food crops like tobacco, this year is slightly has increased from last year. We are expecting about 273 metric tons, which is 273 million kgs, because the tobacco when it's sold, they sold it in terms of kgs, not metric tons. Then we are expecting 38,000 metric tons of sunflower and 61,000 metric tons of cotton. Then we went on to make the districts according to when the cereal is going to last. The first one is the word by word information. As you can see, there are some words which are in red, which means those words they do not have enough cereal. Then we went on that figure below is for the districts. So those districts in red, those are the districts which I was saying that they only have the cereal which will last within 3 months. Then moving on to the maize production. This is maize production by province, and as you can see, Marsh West is the largest production of 576. Then we also have 394 coming from Manicaland. Then we also have 390,000 metric tons, which is coming from Marsh Central. Then this graph is also showing the trends of the area production and yields of maize from 2010 up to now. Then this is the graph for sorghum production. And we also have the graph showing the trends for sorghum production. And you can see the different production for the different provinces. Then we also have pearl millet. Pearl millet is what we call bunga in Shona, the other millet. So we also have the trends from 2010 to 25. Then we also have the production where we have the highest production for pearl millet, which is coming from Mashingo, where we are expecting to have about 120 metric tons of pearl millet. Then we went on to look for NDVI anomalies using remote sensing. So these are some of the images that we get. So overall, most parts of the country exhibited a positive NDVI anomaly, indicating a significant improvement in crop yield and biomass compared to the long-term average. So compared to the long-term average, the 2024-2025 season was better compared to the long-term average, which means it was a very good year. If we failed to produce last year, it was going to be our fault, not the fault of God, because last year, in terms of the rainfall and other conditions, it was a conducive year. Then we went on to have some images for the cereals, the NDVI for the different for the cereals, and we all get that the NDVI was positive, and the conditions, they were very conducive for growth. Then I'm going to move on to the livestock section. I will start with the livestock numbers, and from the assessment, we realized that our national herd now stands at 5.7 million. And as you can see, most of our cattle, they are coming from the smallholder farmers who are from the communal, the CA for the communal agriculture. First, we have the large scale, then we have the A2, A1, then small scale commercial farming, the old new settlement, and the communal agriculture farmers. And about 3.6 million of the 5.7 million cattle, they are coming from the communal farmers who are smallholder in nature. That's why when we have some drought years, those farmers and their cattle, they will be at risk. Then the milk, which was produced, about 114 million liters of milk was produced, and the bulk of the milk, it was coming from Mashonaland East. And in Mashonaland East, we have got some big dairies, like that one, Fisheries and so forth. And Mash East is one of the biggest milk producers, followed by Manicaland. Then we move on to fish and the aquaculture production. As 2024, a total of 26,300 metric tons of fish was produced, compared to the other year. The previous year, 2023, was 27. You may wonder why fish, unlike crops which are grown in November and then harvested the following season, but when we are doing aquaculture production, their year starts in January and end in December. So when we are reporting the statistics for the fisheries, they will be recording for the whole cycle from January to December and what was produced. Then after that, I think I will run down to the recommendation which we made at the ministry. The first one was that our farmers, they now have cereal. So we recommended that it is better to stop the imports for maize, so that we encourage that the buyers, the millers, and everyone else who might want to buy the grain to buy from the farmers. Then also climate proofing agriculture should be accelerated. Even in good years, we continue to promote the Pfumbuza into us program. Then another recommendation, irrigation development. I think there is also need to have to scale up our area under irrigation. We can say last year it was a very good year, But the issue is that there are some farmers who were affected, because if you can remember the season, there was a false start of the season, and some farmers they had already planted, and in between there will be need maybe to supplement. So there is need to if we scale up the irrigation development. Then also we sit down as the ministry and we recommend that, like we were giving inputs, free inputs for the Fumbudza Intwasa program, and most of the farmers they harvested. So maybe as a way of appreciation, those farmers, if they can deliver maybe a 10 kg bag to the strategic grain reserve, so that maybe if the next year is not a good year, it can be distributed. Then the village yet, there were also given some inputs for the Sundera Mambo at the village level and the Sundera Mambo as far as same course at the chief. If they can also deliver some grain into the strategic grain reserve so that they can be used if in the years when there's drought. Then also the rural development 8.0 schemes, they are vital if they are adequately resourced. So the private sector, the ministry in the process of mobilizing the private sector so that they can assist in rural development 8.0. Some may be wondering, these are the 8 facets which are being promoted by the ministry. The climate proof is part of them. Then we also have the irrigation schemes which are being run under the other B30 model. Then we also have the livestock, also have program for livestock, program for the goat schemes and so forth. So those are the ones which run under the rural development 8.0. Then also the drilling of boreholes and so forth. And all those programs, they are targeting to improve the livelihoods of the rural populations as well as to increase resilience. So if those ones they are being scaled up, they can act as a very good strategy for food security. Then the establishment of wide drought mitigation centers to continue building community resilience. Then also the ban of household and village cattle sales in favor of structured auctions. So we encourage the farmers to have auctions which are structured rather than just having sales at their village where the farmers will be disadvantaged. Then also the presidential ballistic scheme, and that one has already been renamed, and also other programs to support the fight against the ticks. Then the establishment of 5 government feed production sites, the construction is already started in order to boost the fisheries production. Then also another recommendation was agriculture to be viewed as a business in respect of scale from smallholder farmers, and also through Makama Food School. And currently, our extension officers, we have adopted the Farmer Food School approach to train and impact knowledge to the farmers. This has already also started. So I think in short, that was my presentation. That's my, I think I will share with you the whole document.
Yes. So thank you, Mrs. Mangena. Are there any questions on the assessment?
Ma'am, the maize crop, you said it'll be over 2 million tons.
Yeah.
Because it was quite a poor start to the season. There's lots of maize now, but if they're going to be lots of maize forward, you know, we buy a lot of maize and we have no problems buying maize in Irani. But we've also got a factory in Polowero and there's a real issue, there's no grain there.
Okay.
But Is everyone confident that you'll get a 2 million ton crop?
Yeah. Maybe the problem is that, like last year, the government has said that all those who contracted with the farmers, they are the ones who should buy the grains.
Yes. No, that's,
Yeah, from the farmers. So with farmers being contracted by FCCA, we have farmers be contracted by
agro,
CBZ Agro. We have farmers being contracted by CBZ and so forth. Yeah. But I think you can also utilize the ZTMX. The ZTMX.
yes,
Mobilize for that day.
Is that functional now?
I think it's Livestock, it's there.
It's functional.
And you're getting grain.
Yeah, everything. It's a challenge. So we are actually moving grain from rural bargains.
What sort of volumes are you trading on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, I think in average 500. Actually, we are coming, but now the challenge is waste component. There is quite high rejection from the markets for the show less supply. Yeah, so I think maybe mid-July we should be able to try base from the markets. But from the figures, I think we also very confidence with that enough waste was looking at the demand that we are getting of the FLX. It's something available supply. We will use the amount in the it's a huge deal.
From the map.
I think maybe we'll get you guys up to do a presentation, so we can catch up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, now.
So my question goes on to the livestock. And I panicked last year because of the drought, the feed poverty, the deaths that we've been talking about. There's also the element of disease that continues really with drought. But what I'm seeing there is your total figure for cattle and livestock, so cattle at 1.7 million, and yet at some stage we're being told that 1.2 million cattle are really at risk, and we're already seeing deaths and also other numbers being spoken about. So could you just explain how you have an increase from 5.4 million cattle to 5.7, and then you have this drought? Just those numbers are not making sense.
Okay. On the livestock, of course, we have some poverty deaths, but I don't have the figures yet, but they were not much. Because the government, together with other partners, they intervene in the southern provinces, especially the Matabele South and the Mashina. And there's a lot of initiatives they were done, some survivor meals they were given them. I think in the report you can see, because that how limited really an impact, because even on the quality of the carcasses, which was sent to the abattoirs, there was decreased quality of even also the average mass of the cattle which were delivered at the abattoir. The effect of drought was, of course, the growth rate, it was not much as what was anticipated, but it takes the really okay. But the government and other partners, they interviewed at a very early exit point.
A follow-up question. So how do you, what's the word? Is there a census that you do every year to take into account the livestock, especially for cattle or etc.?
The cattle figures, it depends on we have the details, and we have the details attendance at the deals. So what happens is that when people they are coming to take their cattle, the statistics they are being taken that me so and so is so many cattle and so forth and so forth. Then when you are selling that your cattle, you also notify the police and vets, then the figures they are subtracted. Then if you buy cattle from somewhere, so mainly for the cattle numbers. I think maybe very soon we're going to have that big census, but as of now, we are relying on the figures that are dictated.
Yes, sir. I think the World Bank's got something to do with that big census.
No, if we.
Oh, Alex.
True, yes, we are working with Zimstats on the, let's say, the technical aspects. It's going to be extremely expensive. It's running into millions of dollars. But in fact, they had a retreat, I think, a couple of weeks ago to go over some of the more technical details. So it's in process. I don't know when it'll happen. But it's on the cards.
So as we are waiting, we rely on the figures.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So from the presentation, I think something, I'm not sure if it's correct. I say the cost of live is now great in the last couple of months. That's correct.
Not every household. When we showed those are made with words, there are some words that are in red, which means those households they don't have enough grain. The grain in those words will last only to less than 3 months. Then we have some which are yellow, which will last between 3 to 6 months. So that one is just an overall picture, not at household level.
My follow-up then would say, we have enough established storage facilities, these ones, or enough skills for everyone is to pay.
Yeah, we will, as with the ministry, we are having some campaigns on post-harvest storage. And we realized that our farmers, most of them, they don't have granaries like we used to have when we grew up. And in some, they store the maize inside their bedrooms, some store their maize. Yeah, but as a ministry, we are doing some campaigns, trying to tell the farmers that they have to properly store their grain, and also if they are selling, they should sell their grain early so that it is not going to be affected by the wheels or any other storage pests.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you very much for the presentation. I think the format follows a very historical, way to portray assessments of this kind. But I'm just observing that there may be a need for such assessments to include perspectives onto what moves onto the markets in terms of availability of food, nutrition aspects, and also what pricing mechanisms are at play. I'm beginning to be a farmer, and I get really frustrated at the prices that the price mechanisms that operate on the market, and they can be quite a disincentive moving what numbers we seem to see are rising, but really their meaning is really so static that you wonder whether they can talk for performance or just happen. And what can be done in terms of making agriculture a business in reality, especially for the small farmers that you are talking about.
Thank you so much. As the ministry, we estimate what is there. Then following the second output livestock assessment, then we have what is called the SIMLAG, which is done by the Food and Nutrition Council, the Social Welfare. We are also part of that. So the SIMLAG is the one which went on into detail, like the actual food at household level, which is that food still available? What are the prices like? What are the prices of the people? And if in the markets, and what is being sold, where and the prices for that. So after the second round, then there is another assessment which is carried out by the FNC, which is the similar, which will take care of all those things.
Correct, just quick for the same issues of prices. So as the remix, we trading with prices only during the stage. And price determination is the price discovery mechanism. What's the supply is looking for versus what the demand side is looking for. So that trading of prices, it also helps you as the farmer in terms of your planning, your plannings, then you make your decision against that. And the beauty of it, that this is the government is sort of liberalize the marketing of commodities. So we now have more free marketing of the commodity, and the price that is coming from the actual market cement price, which is the claim from the government price, which was the previous seasons. Thank you.
And where's that information available?
Yes, it's available
On the website.
For the circulation is with.
I was going to ask you, what is the price today?
It's 340.
What does that mean? It's a good price.
So I think a lot depends on how quickly you pay. If you're getting it at 345, 350, but we're paying in 30 days. So I can't imagine if you're paying cash, you're going to pay it.
Yeah, I think that's how the market is performing. So what we're just trying to do is communicate the same message from the markets to our farmers to say, this is the price, these are the payment terms. Are you okay with them? They will deliver if you are okay. If we are not, you can let our vote and sell with the delivered terms. But we can also have a facility that we brought in to finance the farmers want to take spot cash. We can wait for 80 days. It will be a cost. But I thought that also could be a solution, which is also really want cash.
How does that price compare with import parity?
For now, we are seeing a convergence between import parity versus local
Sure.
But as of last week, it's slightly higher than import parity. So as of now, today, we are low import parity is 350 and then 340.
Okay. Okay. Any further questions for Mr. Sandino? Okay. Well, thank you very much.